Hey guys, it's Rory from ANSgear, and we're going to do something a little different now. We're going to look at some guns in the mid-price range, 3 different sets of mid-price range guns, and kind of just go over them and see, give you some tips or pointers or whatever you want to call it, and you guys make a decision on which gun might fit you better in those price range. And again, we're talking about mid-price guns, and back in the day, mid-price guns were very specific. You had like $400. That was a mid-price gun, or $500. That was a mid-price gun. But now mid-price guns, because the overall range of guns is so dynamic and so large now, that mid-price guns kind of fall through a wide range of guns. So we're going to look at a set of guns that's like in the $350 to $450, $499 range. We're going to look at a set of guns that's in that like $550 to $699 range, and then a set of guns that's in that's above that, but not over. I think 900 is the highest we go. And I consider those all mid-range guns because we've got guns that go all the way up into the $1,500, $1,600, $1,700. So we're trying to figure out that mid-range right there and fit guns that are more towards your budget. So if you're interested in any of the guns that we're talking about here, click the button and you'll get a list of what we're talking about, and you can go to it and kind of see get some more information about it. So right here, we've got 3 mid-priced guns at the lower end of mid-price. We've got an ETHA 2, a Maxed Rise, and an Axe 2.0. So the Axe 2.0 runs at about $425. It varies in there depending on the color combination you get. And obviously, exclusive guns from us, there's a whole range of colors. So if you're not looking for just the basic red or the basic black or something like that, we do all sorts of different prints or different anodized colors for certain guns to make it different. And then you pay a little bit more for those ones, but you get something that's a little more unique. So again, you can look through all those as well. So the average for these ones, Axe Pro $425 or so, Max Rise $399 or $349, and then for an ETHA 2, $399. So these are the lower end mid-price guns. Now, I'm just going to be pretty broad about this. I'm not going to get into specifics like look at this bolt compared to this bolt. I'll give you some generalities about it, and that'll help you make a better decision. So we'll start from the front kind of and just work our way back. And just, again, this is really just kind of a basic thing here. Barrels, they all come with 2-piece barrels, these guns right here. So they're quality barrels. They're not garbage. But it really comes down to how the ball is going to fit your barrel that you're using. So these barrels can shoot really well if your paint matches your barrel. So at this kind of gun, barrels is not a big thing. A lot of people are going to replace it anyway. So if you're again, budget in mind, the barrels that come on these guns are decent barrels. So you just have to find paintballs that work with them. Moving their way back, we'll talk about regulators. The regulators in these 2 guns are built onto the bottom of the or either built into the frame or built onto the bottom. And because of that, these guns don't have any hoses on the outside. You can see the Maxed Rise has a hose on here. Some people might consider that a weak point to the gun, something that maybe can damage, something that can leak. So having the plumbing internal, I think that's a plus in guns these days. It's moving towards that. A lot of guns are moving in the direction of internally plumbed lines. So maybe that's a plus in your book. I like it. I think it's a good choice. But again, I'm not knocking a macro line setup. We use macro line setups for how long, and everybody seemed to get along with them just fine. But the regulators, the reg inside in this gun is built into here. A little bit harder to get to do maintenance. Reg inside of here is actually in the front. You got to get to it on this side, break it down. Regulator is inside here. Now, I would say the only downside to the reg, these are pretty straightforward regulators when you get into them. This regulator right here, if you're going to break it down, you do need a special tool to get the core that holds the cup seal inside there, or the reg seat in place. So you will need something a little bit more specific for that one if you want to do your own maintenance on it. You can do basic maintenance to the regulator on this one, but if you really want to get in there and break it down, if you're having reg issues like supercharging or bad recharge rates, you will need a little bit of a special tool to get into that one. I don't know if you want to call that a drawback or not, but if you need something special to fix your gun, that's a little different for guns. Moving towards triggers. The triggers are all adjustable on these guns. Some are lighter than others. They both all run off a micro switch, so you're not looking at some sort of optical sensor or magnetic sensor or anything like that. Micro switches on all of them, so they're pretty straightforward on that. When it comes to overall body constructions, the Axe 2.0, all aluminum construction. Every piece on here, besides the feed neck up here at the top, which You don't really need to replace anyway. I don't think I've ever seen one of those break. Everything else is aluminum on here. Moving on to this one, the construction on this one, your frame right here is composite. It's lightweight. Now, when I say composite, I'm not talking about crap plastic. You know, it's not toy plastic. It's reinforced, like a nylon fiber plastic, I believe, or ballistic plastic. I don't even know if that's a thing. But super, super strong. They're not going to break on you. So don't worry about that. But it's going to save you in weight. But a lot of people like the feel of just an aluminum gun. So that's something right there. Plus, it gives us the ability to change the color on it. We can't change the color on this one. So you're stuck with this frame being this color. Now on this gun over here, the Etha 2, this whole outer shell to the gun, composite, 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 everything on here is composite. So again, limited to color selection. So if you are looking for something that's a little bit more unique on an Etha 2, you're not going to find that. You're going to find the colors that they give you, and that's where you're stuck at right there. They all come with an eye system inside of there, a brake beam eye system. So you're going to have the reliability of not breaking paint as long as you take care and maintain those systems. So they all come with that. They all come with boards that have all the firing modes you could possibly ever want. And anything that is played in any local tournament, you're going to get that in these guns as well. The bolt systems. Now, the bolt systems in these two are a little bit more, for a low price mid-range gun, these are a little bit more complicated on the inside. This bolt is very straightforward. Not as many O-rings, not as many moving parts. Very simple design. On these ones, a little bit more, I don't want to call it complicated or convoluted or anything. It's just a little bit more advanced for the price range gun. Again, if you're going to buy a gun, any gun you buy, you should learn how to fix it. You should learn how it works. You should learn how to maintain it. If you buy a gun and then just figure, I'll get somebody else to do it, and it breaks down on you on the field, what are you going to do? You're stuck. So even though it might seem a little bit more complicated, you really should learn about it and learn how to maintain it and go from there. The axes, the whole line of axe, the Axe Pros, the Axe 2.0, just the standard axe, they're good shooters, they're quiet, they're soft, they're decently efficient, and they don't have a lot of problems. Proto Max Rises, again, have a little bit of a different shot feel to them. The bolt is a little bit more advanced, so you have to keep up the maintenance. A lot of people, that turns away a lot of people. I've always liked shooting proto or die guns. I like the way they shoot and I like the way they feel. But again, you have to keep up with the maintenance on them. And then the Etha 2s, it's Planet Eclipse. You can throw it in dirt and it'll still work. But again, if you neglect the gun, it's going to have an issue on you. So do your maintenance on all these. But not a bad choice with all three. Any gun you pick up with this range would be a good gun for you, good choice right here. But we want to show you three that are in that mid-range, low price budget. Okay, so now we're moving on to mid-range guns at a mid-range price. So in front of me we have a G-Tech right here. We have an Axe Pro, and we have an E-Tech 5. Now, the overall designs of these guns are similar to what we looked at before in the Axe. So the Axe Pro is just kind of a more advanced version, feature-wise, of the Axe 2.0. And that's really comes down to one specific area, really. The E-Tech 5 and the G-Tech, mid-range guns, different ways of working, I guess you want to call it. We'll talk about the valve assemblies in these in a little bit. But let's kind of get into it. Again, the barrels, same idea with the barrels. Good two-piece barrels, so if you find paint that fits your barrel properly, it's going to shoot well. And you can always switch them out with something else that you like that's a little bit better. Moving back, feed necks. We have aluminum feed necks on, actually I think these are composite, sorry. Yeah, composite on the G-Tech and the E-Tech 5 right here. So, and again, this one is aluminum on the Axe Pro, where it was composite before on the Axe 2.0. So again, all aluminum parts on this one, composite frame and composite frame. So you're getting composite setups, not vertical. ASAs are aluminum. They have this twist on and off right here. This one has a lever on and off. This one, again, the reg is built into the ASA, so an internally lined setup right here. These ones have macro line coming up through here. Same issue with the regulator. If you want to break it down, you have to have a special tool for it to get that reg seat assembly out. These ones right here, the regulator is in here. Very, very simple regulator, very easy to understand. So if you need to rebuild it, it is pretty straightforward with that gun. Color combination option. We offer a lot of colors on these guns. So again, if you're not interested in the basic color, which is a big selling point for guns, when people come to look for them, they don't want just the run-of-the-mill gun. All three of these guns up here, we offer multiple colors in above what the original factory offered to you. So you get a lot of choices in these guns right here because we have a lot to work with on these. Boards. This board has an LCD screen on it right here. So it has a little bit of a different interface to it, unlike the 2.0 that we looked at in the first section of this video, where it was just a basic board. So this gun right here, upgrade wise, the major difference between it is it comes with a better board setup inside there, a better interface. Same regulator, same bolt assembly, same barrel, same overall gun. So pretty straightforward. Now these two right here, these are both from Planet Eclipse, G-Tech and E-Tech, E-Tech 5, standard G-Tech. The internal bolt assemblies on them are night and day different to them. This is a spool valve setup. This is a poppet valve setup. And if you want to get more into what that means, that's time for a whole different video. But they shoot completely different when you're actually out there shooting them. The G-Tech and the Axe Pro are going to shoot very similar to each other, just in their bolt designs. Even though they're not the same, they do feel similar to each other. I would say this is smoother. This would be the next smoothest, and this would be the next to smoothest, if you want to talk about smoothness and shooting. But this uses the Gamma Core bolt inside of it, which has been tried and true from Planet Eclipse. Very robust, very consistent, very efficient. This is a different kind of poppet assembly, and this is what they call this is a poppet valve, dual tube or dual tube stacked poppet valve, something like that. So again, the valve assembly inside there is just different. Less maintenance. That's tricky right there. Easier, I'm going to call it easier maintenance for dealing with the valve assembly and shooting components inside this gun. This one has by far the more O-rings and things on the bolt assembly, the more parts of the bolt assembly. Again, pretty straightforward, very straightforward on how this one works. So maintenance of the three would go from probably, these are a pretty close tie from quickness on easy to break it down, right, fix and put it back together. This one's going to take you a little bit more time, more O-rings, just a better understanding of how that bolt works on the inside there. But it's a trade-off on how the gun shoots. Usually a little bit more the advanced the bolt gets, the better the gun shoots. So you really got to get out there and kind of feel all three of them and see how they work for you. They all have an eye system inside of them. They all have boards that will do everything. These are upgradable to LCD boards also. So if down the road you wanted to kind of give a little bit more of an intuitive interface with the gun, you could do that with these guns. You can pick stuff up and upgrade them. As far as upgrades overall for guns, there isn't a lot like that anymore. Back in the day, you could buy a million different upgrades for your gun. Now companies are smart and they're like, well, I'm just going to get that consumer and keep him and put the upgrades in my gun already. So, excuse me. What else can I say about these guns? These three really start to get into preference and feel, or an overall length. This gun's, as you can see, much shorter. So if you like a gun that feels a little bit closer to your body, again, that depends on tank you're putting on there, how far it sets that gun away from your body. But this gun is compact from the grip in the front to the grip you're holding onto at the back. It's very, very close. Spread apart. So it's going to move your hands around. It's definitely something you want to put in your hands and feel and kind of move around. But if you like the gun pushed out a little bit more or hands further apart, maybe these are more your style. If you like it close to your body, this is your style with a smaller tank. If you're buying a gun for the first time and you don't know, well, it's going to be tricky for you. You kind of just go for body size and what you think is good. I always tell people, try to go shoot a gun. Try to go shoot your friend's gun. Go to the field and try to shoot some guns that other people have down there. I don't think I've ever been to a paintball field where I haven't thought that I could show up and bring my own paint and see a guy in between games and go like, hey man, I brought some paint. Care if I shoot your gun? I just want to check it out. I'm thinking about buying one. I don't know anybody that would say no. I would be like, here you go. Go play a game with my gun. Go check it out. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. But I think that's an option for everybody for picking them up. So mid-price, I don't know if I said the price on these guns. I don't know. E-Tech 549 to $600 depending on the anodizing that you want to get done on it, or if you're just looking for stock or special. On the Axe Pro, these are $500 to $600 depending on, again, color, and these right here would be $499 probably to $550-ish depending on the color you want. So mid-range prices right there. And again, quality guns, just take care of your gun, man. So we'll go ahead and pull these off the counter, and then we'll get the higher end of the mid-range guns out for you. Okay, so now we've got mid-range guns high-end price, or mid-range guns at the higher price. So these are going to be your like $7 to $8.99, right around in there. We have a G-Tech 160R, a DSR, and a XLS. So this is the new shocker as well. And again, custom anodizing, stock print. We haven't done anything on the DSRs except for color swaps so far as to some different color variations that you have in there. So XLS $899, DSR $899, and 160R $695, and those will all vary a little bit depending on, well, these two will vary depending on finish and what you want the gun to look like. But again, high-end price of the mid-range marker. Now, I think high-end mid-range is a tricky gray area because you'd be hard-pressed to see some of the difference in performance between these guns and then your premium guns as well. They're going to be consistent, efficient. They're going to shoot well. There's some certain things about the higher end guns that you get or that you feel like you're getting when you're picking up a gun like that. So it really comes down to very intricate technology that's inside of there that are making these guns work a little bit differently than what we're seeing in front of here. But again, I don't want everybody to think like, oh, I can get the same performance out of this gun that I can out of this high-end one, and then nobody buy a high-end gun. It's not like that. But you're going to get, shooting-wise, very similar results. Barrels that you're looking at right here, two-piece, great barrels. The XLS, I think, again, personal opinion, this comes with, out of these three, the best barrel that you can get in these guns right here. Now the reason that is this comes with a freak system on it. This is the XLS system where you've got an insert that goes inside of these ones. So this gives you the ability to adjust the bore size of your barrel by getting different inserts to accommodate the paint that you're using. And that's a big plus. Here you're stuck with a particular bore size in 688, and I believe this is 689. So you have a good general bore size, but if your paint doesn't fit that barrel, you're at a loss. You're going to shoot worse or less accurate than someone who has good barrel to paint match. This barrel gives you the ability to size it and fit your paint properly. So that's a plus in my side. And for the same price, $899, you're getting something that's slightly better barrel-wise. Let me rephrase that. The potential to be slightly better barrel-wise than the one next door to it. Now with this barrel, you only get one of these inserts when you buy the gun. So you'd have to buy other inserts. It's cheaper than buying other barrels, so you're going to get that performance boost by spending less money than you would have to do with the other ones. But if you find paint that works with these barrels, this barrel, your accuracy is going to be the same at that point. So it's not like you can't get good accuracy with these barrels. It might take you a little bit more trial and error, a little bit more time to find that though. Moving back, as you can see, these are all internally set up for airlines. Air coming through here, air coming through here, and then air coming through here, down here, and into the regulator. So both of these two, or this gun, still running the regulator in the front. This gun here runs the regulator in the front as well. It's just the air comes up through here, down here, and then into the regulator, rather than like some other passage down here. And on this gun, the reg is built into the grip here. What did I want to say? We'll talk about just the front of the guns, because these guns have a little bit more going on to them. Again, All of these guns at this range are all aluminum setups. They're all metal setups on there. So in theory, we already do to these guns what we could do to this one. So if you really had your heart set on this orange acid print on a DSR, you could let me know and I could do it for you. It's going to change your price, but it's possible. We could do it. This one has a foregrip on it, rubberized cover foregrip, where you would adjust your regulator or just give you something to grip onto. This right here actually holds our batteries up inside of here. Rotates, you can pop this piece off. And again, this is just a covered grip for our regulator in the front. Probably, if you want to talk about ease of regulator, not assembly, but maintenance, easiest, second easiest, third easiest, and these two are close right here. Pulling this assembly off the bottom, as soon as you get it apart, it's very easy to disassemble. This one right here, the components on the inside are very simple and easy to understand. And then this one right here has a little bit more going on in it, a couple more parts inside of there, but not hard. And the nice thing about these guys is they have a super great manual on leaks and things like that, where to find leaks, troubleshoot things. So I like that about these. These guys have manuals and troubleshooting terminologies and like, you know, look for this if this is doing that. But these guys really break it down and show you diagrams of air passages and really make it easy to understand and technically troubleshoot problems, which is great. Feed necks, all aluminum with lever locks, so that's pretty standard all the way across the board. Triggers, they always have different trigger feels and setups, shapes right here. So they're all adjustable too. If you like them to be soft or loose or sloppy or whatever you want inside there, you could do that. You can change it all around. The G-Tech 160R does have a removable shoe though on theirs. So you could pop this one off and they sell a flat one that you can put on there. So if you don't like this curved forward look, you can get a flat one on there. Something different. That's kind of cool. So it's up to you. The grips on all of these, straightforward, you know, take your screws off, pop your grips off, that kind of thing. This one is a little bit different just because of the shape. You do still have to take a screw out and then you can peel them off, but a little bit more work to get these grips off there. You really have to force them off once you get them unscrewed. First couple times it's going to feel like you might break it. You won't, but definitely a different feel to getting the grips off of there. ASAs, all on-offs right there. This one, the knob on this one is a little bit harder to get to. They do put some good knobbing on it, knurling on it, so you can grab a hold of it. This one has a lever. I've always felt that the die ASAs were a little hard to turn sometimes. And this one has a really narrow little area right here to get your fingers into. But again, it works good. So, I mean, I'm just trying to point out differences here. I'm not trying to point out flaws. And then this one here, again, the knob at the front of this, of all three of these, this one's got the tiniest twist on it. And so this one can be actually the hardest one to get to just because of the size of it. You got gloves on or something like that, it can make it a little difficult to get onto. They do make a replacement ASA for this one that has a sliding pop front to it, and it makes it much easier. So you can change it if you need to. Gives you that ability right there. These all have LCD screens on them. So if you're looking for easy interface, you're going to get that right through the back here. You can see that one just turned on right there. So you get that in this. This one, the DSR, has that MOS that you see in the M2, the method operating system. So it's got the same kind of software inside of it. And then these right here have their upgraded screen on them as well. This has the same board between the two guns, the G-Tech and the 160R. This just comes with the screen in it already with the all aluminum frame. So let me turn that one off there. They have the brake beam eye systems. They're easy to get to. This one does it a little different inside here. These have an eye pipe. So as you can see, there's no eye cover on these ones right here. Eye cover, which you can take off and you can clean them if you have an issue. This one on the inside has a eye pipe, which blocks the eye from getting dirty. So if you break a ball inside the breech, it'll stay on the inside of the eye pipe most of the time, and keeps the actual eye assembly from getting dirty and getting all mucked up with paint. So that makes it easy to clean that out as well. You just want to make sure you put it in the right way when you go to throw it back in there. So shot-wise, these all shoot really nice. I like the way these shoot. This gun, even though on the 160R it's got the same the identical bolt assembly to it on the inside, I actually think this one feels a little better when it shoots. And that could just be the way it's set up, the all metal system to it. I don't know what it is, but it feels a little different when it shoots. It probably in actuality doesn't, but to me it just does. This bolt assembly in here, this is again of these three guns, this is the more busy of the bolt systems, so it's got more stuff going on in it, more O-rings to look at. So these two would be your most probably complicated bolts in these two guns. This would be your less complicated of the three that are out here. So when you get up into this level of gun, it is imperative that you understand your gun and learn your bolts, your O-rings, everything that's going on. It'll make it easier for you. So you don't have to bring it to me to fix it. I'm not going to charge you money to fix it. You can do it on your own and understand how it works. You get a little bit of satisfaction of fixing your own gun or maintaining your own gun. Maybe that's just not you and you want to give it to someone. Well, that's up to you. So different strokes for different folks. So I'm going to kind of leave it at that, I guess, and kind of just impart that information to you guys and let you make a decision on which one you think is better. Let us know what you are looking for videos or anything like that. We'll try to feed you the information as best we can, give you guys the ability to make informative decisions. So check out all these guns. Click on the box up here to see what we're talking about, and pick up any of these guns in any of these colors at ANSgear.com.